What's going on, guys? We're back here for episode 5 of Blues World. I want to thank you guys for tuning in like always, but let's not waste any time. Yesterday was one of the best days in sports in quite some time. It was absolutely insane. We had tons of stuff going on. The Minnesota Vikings miracle, the Jaguars taking down the Steelers. It was absolutely crazy, and we're going to get into all that. So here we go, guys. We're not going to waste any time. Blues World, episode 5. So, to get things started, the Minnesota Miracle, Keenum to Diggs, 10 seconds left, they win the game. It was an absolutely crazy game and a crazy finish. Throughout most of the game, the Vikings started off pretty hot. I believe it was 17-0 at halftime. They completely stifled the Saints offense. It was crazy. Kamara, Ingram, they weren't doing anything. Breeze was getting shut down. I believe he had 2 picks in the first half. He was getting beaten up. He was getting sacked to the ground. It was crazy. So the Saints basically getting shut out the whole first half, and the Vikings defense just getting the job done. They've been great all season, so it was good to see that. Then on the offensive side for the Vikings, Case Keenum playing pretty decent in the first half. Thielen, this Thielen guy, man, he just comes out of nowhere, and he's making catches. He's making catches that normal people can't make. The guy's got great hands. He can catch anything. So also the running game was kind of going well. So it wasn't their best offensive performance in the first half, but enough to have a 17-0 lead. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the end of the game, the last 10 seconds. What happened? So essentially, the Vikings were driving down the field with about 20 to 30 seconds left on the clock in the game. They need a field goal to win the game. That's it. But they've got one timeout, but very few time left on the clock. So they drive down the field, all right? They're about midfield, a little bit past, or a little bit before midfield. They need to make a play. They've got 10 seconds left. They have one chance to get one play to get out of bounds and have a chance, just a chance for a field goal. Now listen to this. Just imagine being in that stadium, the Viking Stadium, and just think about what you're about to see. You don't know what's coming. Just think about that. Absolutely crazy. So, third down, Keenum steps back, looks down the edge of the field. He finds Diggs in what is an absolutely beautiful pass from Case Keenum. Can't believe I'm saying that, but the guy's been proving me wrong all year. A beautiful dime to Case Keenum, and Diggs catches it. Now, at this split second, I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, he caught the ball. He's going to get out of bounds. They've got a chance to win this game. So I think when he catches the ball, there's about, 4 seconds left? Something like that, about 4 seconds left. So he catches the ball, and the Saints safety, Marcus Williams, whiffs on the tackle. I am not sure what he was thinking. If I had to guess, he didn't want to get pass interference on the call because he kind of eases up before he hits the guy. But if he would have just slowed down, let Diggs catch the ball, make the easy tackle, the game is over, and excuse me, and the Saints are going to the NFC Championship. But that is not what happened. Stephon Diggs catches the ball, Williams whiffs the tackle, and Diggs runs in for the walk-off touchdown. Oh my God, what just happened? It was absolutely insane. Me and my roommate William were freaking out in the living room. We could not believe what we saw. Everyone thought this game was over. And even when he caught the pass, I was in shock. But to see him turn it upfield, no one there, and he runs in for a walk-off touchdown, throws the helmet up in the air, sticks his arms out, they win the game. Absolutely crazy. Crazy. I cannot believe it. I was in shock. Vikings players in shock. Saints players in shock. In the Saints, they walk off the field. They think the game is over, but they've got to come out for one more play for the extra point. And that was quite a sight to see. Just imagine having that feeling. You just lost the game on a walk-off touchdown. That should not have happened. So when that happened, that was quite a sight to see. So the Vikings take down the Saints in what is in my opinion, it might be the best play of all time in football history. I mean, if it's not the best play, it's the best walk-off play of all time. Just an absolutely insane play, something I will never, ever forget. So with that, the Vikings will move on to face the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Yes, a quick note on the Eagles. They do take down the Falcons, and the Eagles get it done. So they're going to be playing in the NFC Championship in Philadelphia. It's going to be quite the matchup. So we're going to get into predictions a little bit later on to the show. So let's get to the Jacksonville and Steelers game. Blake Bortles. What if I told you? They need a 30 for 30 on this man. Blake Bortles, the legend, getting the job done. 45-42 over the Steelers. Another game that a lot of people did not see coming. An outcome that people did not see coming. I can't. This isn't as shocking as the Minnesota game because of the finish, but let's take a look at this thing. Fournette, the guy's a beast. Over 100 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Halftime, it seems like he twists his ankle or something like that. Comes back, continues to have a great game. You know, I wanted the Panthers to draft this guy, but he got taken early. I love McCaffrey, but Fournette, he would have been a monster in our backfield. So a good pick there by the Jags and Tom Coughlin. The Jaguars defense, man, they've been great all year. And they've got probably one of my favorite players in the league, Jalen Ramsey. The guy's hilarious. He's a great player. He's my vote for Defensive Player of the Year. And I'd like to see him get it. Why not? I mean, you tell me. Like the guy is hilarious. Every post-game interview he has, it's awesome. So the Jaguars defense, amazing all year. They've got players all over the field. The D-line, Calais Campbell, the linebackers, Miles Jack, I believe. And then you got Jalen Ramsey in the backfield. It's just, man, they've got players all over the field. They're all young. They've got a nice mix of vets at the same time. This Jaguars defense, there's something else, man. They're a force to be reckoned with. A lot of people did not give them credit because of the Jaguars, because they haven't been good for so long. That's the thing. I believe this is the first time in 10 years the Jags have made the playoffs, 2007, I believe. So that it's crazy. A lot of people overlooked them. They didn't think they would make an impact, but boy, did they. So they stifled. The Steelers, they had a lot of, I wouldn't say garbage time points, really. They kept coming back. But at the same time, while the Jaguars defense did give up 40-plus points, they played extremely well at the same time by forcing turnovers and stopping fourth down conversions and stuff like that. And Todd Haley, I would not want to be you right now, buddy. It's not looking good for him. A lot of questionable calls, along with Mike Tomlin. I love Mike Tomlin. I think he's a great coach, but a lot of questionable calls that inevitably cost your team the game. Fourth down conversions that you don't pick up. And going for 2 points and then the onside kick, it's just not a good look. It's just a lot of bad calls. It's just bad coaching, man. A lot of bad decision making, something you would not expect to see from the Steelers. But inevitably, that's what happens, and they lose the game. But let's talk about Blake Bortles. The beautiful Blake Bortles. Man, the guy, he's been doubted all year, and he gets it done. I mean, let's be honest, man. He's not making any throws that are... he's just making your basic plays, man, but he's not losing you the game. 214 yards passing yesterday and a touchdown, but what he's so underrated is his legs. The guy can run. He's got wheels. So he uses that to his advantage. But, he's not going to make any throws that are going to wow you. He's just going to get out there. He's going to play his game. He's going to rely on the run game. But at the same time, he's not going to lose you the game. And that's what most fans and the coaching staff, I'm sure, were afraid of. They're like, man, this guy, he cocould potentially lose us the game with bad plays. But Blake Bortles, man, I'm going to give him some credit, man. He played pretty damn good yesterday. He didn't turn the ball over, and he got the job done. He made the throws when they were there. He ran the ball when he needed to, and he played a good game. So credit to Blake Bortles. But the moral of the story for this game, the Steelers overlook the Jaguars. Listen, the Steelers were 120% sure they were going to play the Patriots in the AFC Championship. No doubt in my mind. That's what they thought was going to happen. After the tweets by Le'Veon Bell, you've got Mike Mitchell running his mouth to the Jaguars. He's talking about, I don't care if we play the Patriots in hell, in Haiti, wherever, we're going to play them, we're going to beat them. They were looking forward to the next game, and anyone that has ever played competitive football knows that will cost you a game. You can't do it, and I know it's tough. You're playing a team like Jacksonville, a team that hasn't been irrelevant in so long. It's their first good year in a while, and you're overlooking them because they're the Jaguars. You can't get that stigma out of your head that it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. All you're thinking about is the past decade of losing, Blake Bortles, and how they're going to mess up, and they're overrated. You're not thinking about the competition that is in front of you. You can get beaten any given Sunday, and that's what happened yesterday. And it's unfortunate because the Steelers, I'm not a big Steelers fan, but, I don't hate the Steelers either. I like the Killer Bees, Bryant, Brown, and Le'Veon Bell. Great offensive players. To me, if they don't win a Super Bowl ever, they're going to be the best offensive team ever to never win a Super Bowl. It's just crazy, the talent they have, and they just cannot get it done. So they overlooked the Jaguars, and it cost them the game. And the Jaguars had every reason to gloat and talk about it after the game, especially Jalen Ramsey. My boy Jalen Ramsey, he's hilarious. You got to look up some of his post-game interviews. He even had a post-game interview earlier when he got back to Jacksonville on the mic talking about how they were going to win the whole thing. So Jalen Ramsey, he does not care. I love it. Guy's hilarious. So like I said, moral of the story, the Steelers overlook the Jaguars, and it cost them the game, along with bad coaching decisions. And the Steelers defense, man, the Jaguars defense is fantastic. They're the best in the league, but their offense isn't. As good as Blake Bortles played, as good as Fournette played, they're not. They've got some pretty solid receivers as well. But there's no reason the Jaguars should be hanging 40-plus on you in your home stadium in a playoff game. I can understand the defense. It's going to be tough to score on them, but they had no problem. At the same time, the Jaguars' defense did force a lot of turnovers and mistakes, but they still hung 40-plus on them. But you cannot give up that many points to the Jaguars' offense. The defense had to do a better job. Did they not know that they were just going to give the ball to Fournette and make these easy play-action passes? I mean, to me, that's coaching. How do you not know that? That's going to be their game plan. I'm not sitting here saying I'm an NFL coach and I could have coached a better game, but at the same time, you see what they were going to do, and they executed it perfectly, ran it right down their throat. Fournette, 3 touchdowns, and then all of a sudden they're hanging 40-plus on you, and then you're going home. It's mind-boggling to me that they did not see that coming. So what is next for these teams? Well, Jaguars are going to go on and play the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, chance to go to the Super Bowl. And the Steelers, they're going home. A lot of questions surrounding them about Le'Veon Bell. They're going to franchise tag him. Is he going to accept? Is he going to retire? Is he going to sit out the year? Is he going to go somewhere else to play? Big Ben said he's coming back, so that's good for them. But a lot of questions surrounding the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, Todd Haley, one of them possibly getting axed. We'll have to stay tuned and see. But from now, let's get on to some Super Bowl predictions. All right, guys. The Final Four. We've made it here. Who was going to the Super Bowl? We've got the Vikings versus the Eagles in the NFC Championship, and the Jaguars versus the Patriots in the AFC Championship. So, who do I got? First game, Vikings-Eagles. Now, in this game, this is an intriguing matchup. You've got two teams who have what the media is portraying as, pretty average quarterbacks. Backups, I guess you would say. Now, Keenum has started the whole year, essentially. He's to me, he's done a solid job. A lot of people crap on the guy, but he's not gonna lose you the game, but he can make some throws, man. And the guy can also run. I was at the Panthers game when we played them, and the guy it was insane how the Panthers cannot spy on him and stop him running the ball. He probably had about 40 rushing yards that game. I mean, he ran the ball pretty well on us. But both teams are kind of in the same boat. They don't have the best quarterback play, but they have very solid defenses, and they have a really, really well built team. Around the quarterback, they've got everything. They've got receivers, they've got running game, they've got solid defense. So if I'm going to make a prediction here, I got to go with the Minnesota Vikings to win this game, and here's why. The Vikings are a game away from playing in their home stadium in the Super Bowl. If that is not enough motivation to get you in there and win this football game, I don't know what is. So the Vikings, that's all they need to do. They got to just go out there and play their game. I think Keenum is going to make throws. He's going to make the throws you need to win the game, like he did yesterday to get them to this point. He's going to make the throws. Foles, I like Foles. I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people say he is. But to me, the Vikings it's their destiny, man. A chance to play in your home stadium for the Super Bowl. To me, that's just enough. It's going to be a low-scoring affair, but I just think the Vikings just have a little bit more. I just feel like it's their destiny to make it to this point. And to me, they're going to advance. Now, if it was the Eagles with Carson Wentz, this would be a different story. I'd have to go with the Eagles. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Got to go with the Minnesota Vikings to advance to the Super Bowl. And next up, we've got the Jaguars versus the Patriots. To me, this is such a bad matchup for the Patriots. You look at the the previous game, Patriots and Titans. While they blew the Titans out the water, but if you paid attention to that game, Brady was getting thrown around quite a bit. Even after he would get the ball out, just like little pushes to the ground and stuff after the play. He was getting thrown around quite a bit. Now, if the same thing happens with this Jaguars defense, Brady could be in trouble. This defense, they travel, man. They can play anywhere at any time. Hopefully the Jaguars defense doesn't get too hyped up and overblown after the game they just had against the Steelers. They got to stay level-headed, and they got to play their game. Now, are they going to win? It's tough. To me, the Jaguars have a better matchup. Brady, it's going to be tough to go against this Jaguars defense, but at the same time, it's Tom Brady, man. He's getting the job done all the time. I mean, whenever you need him, I don't care how old he is, if he's played pedestrian this year, even though his stats are pretty damn well. The guy, he's immortal, man. So the Patriots and the Jaguars, what's going to happen? I got to go with the Jaguars here. That's right, I'm calling it. Vikings-Jaguars in the Super Bowl. I think this Jags defense is something special. I think they can just play their game. They can keep the Jaguars in this game. Can Blake Bortles make the throws he needs to make? I think so. You got to rely on that running game. Let's make sure Fournette gets healthy this week. This is a tough one. I'm not quite sure, but I think this is a year of destiny for both these teams, the Vikings and the Jaguars. It's time for something different. I think it's going to be a really close game. To me, it's the best matchup of the weekend. This Jaguars defense against Tom Brady, the legend, the GOAT, the best of all time. But I'm going with the Jaguars. So you heard it here first. Vikings, Jaguars in the Super Bowl. And whenever I'm wrong, you can come back here and tell me. So that's it, guys. Just a quick recap. The Minnesota Vikings miracle, Keenum to Diggs touchdown, insane walk-off touchdown to win the game, outstanding. The Vikings advance. Then we've got the Jaguars dethroning the Steelers. That defense in that running game, Blake Bortles, they get it done. So they defeat the Steelers. They move on, and here we are, AFC Championship. NFC Championship. We got the Vikings versus the Eagles, the Jaguars versus the Patriots. I'm going with the Vikings and the Jaguars. So I will see you guys next week when we talk about who's going to be in the Super Bowl, and we will analyze that and talk about it. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening. It's been a blast so far. I love doing this thing, and I hope you guys have a great weekend and stay safe out there.